This is the LK Series J. After about 4 hours of cleaning it up, getting the pine straw out of it, and I finally got it to spark. And what was wrong was the points were just unbelievably goofed up here. Finally got this, and I'll show you the details that follow on that. An ONAN LK 2.5 kW, that's a Series J from 1972. Got the coil hooked up with a 12 volts here off a battery charger. I've got no spark here, so I've got the breaker box off here. Comes off with a couple little screws here. Got the cover off, and lo and behold, for one thing, the little push rod piece here was kind of stuck, so I put some oil on that, got it to turn when I turn the flywheel around by hand. Here, over here, got the spark plug out, got no spark, but I went through and filed the gap in there, and I've got a voltmeter connected up to the grounding side, plus I've got it hooked up. There's 16 volts, a little bit high. There's no current through the coil because I'm not grounding it out. But if I come over here and I ground out, you can see there's a spark. May not show up that well. So I'm grounding the coil and letting it out. May not show up on the camera, but I do have a little bit of spark there. So the points are closing on here, but I'm going to have to probably file them some more. Put a new sets of points, and so that's going on. This is a 3 microfarad 300 volt cap, and this unit is a 2.5 LK-1R, and then the last number on here is a J. There's the cylinder block number 1701462. And also over here where the drain plug is, the serial number is also right over here. Kind of hard to see. It's on the block right above the plug. This is kind of a basket case right now. Somebody's had a push to start here, and this is all, I've got to go all through the wiring box. But I do have spark here if I go through and manually just ground this to ground. This is a wire that comes out. So if I just hook this up to here on the outside without taking the box out, and I hook this on ohms here like this and turn it around, it never does ground out. That's with no voltage on or anything. So I've lifted this open and gone in there and sanded it, but evidently not enough. And eventually I'll get a new set of points in there. I was just trying to, this is the first time I've had this open. A dark piece of paper behind it. So go here and just ground this out. So I'm grounding out this to ground with 12 volts applied, and it appears that this here is, even though I've sanded it, that's not grounding it out. So I gotta get in there, sand it some more. Over here, This looks like this is an eccentric cam here. I haven't undone this yet. Now, after a bunch of sanding, I got this so the contact in there is actually working. Hey! Hey! So now it's sparking over here with the points. The manual start button on this didn't work, so I pried off the little tabs on here, took this off, and I scratched all this in here. I've got a new one on order, but I can put this back in and push this down. And this is just rigged up, so you got to be careful you don't short something out. But I just want to see if it'll fire off on either. Okay, got the battery hooked up. Got a charger on here just to keep it high. And I've got the coil wire directly hooked to the 12 volts. Because I don't know how this is hooked up, and then if I want to I can pull this to kill the engine. Because these switches are kind of flaky. Put some starter fluid in there. So it fires off. Get some more starting fluid in it. And this is hot because the connections are not good. Disconnect this because this is really dangerous in the sense that it might short out over here. This busts and stuff. This is a Marine deep cycle battery, 845 cold cranking amps. I think they say it's supposed to be 1,000. I'm not sure. This is a big old battery. And the plug isn't really, wire's not really attached that well. I just got the thing in there hand tight, but it fired off, which is good. And the linkage on here is broken. I got a new link on order. Before I run this on gas or propane, I need to go ahead and hook this back up onto here. Just for testing, I can probably put a little hose clamp around there to grab that, so that this is the governor connected up to the throttle, so I don't run the thing too high in RPM. That's the ball and socket. This is an aluminum piece. There's a seller on eBay that sells those.